Well, Coach, how have you been?
I've been good. Obviously, we'd rather be able to go into the office and see everybody and see the players and all that. But we can't complain. My family's healthy and we're doing well and starting to warm up a little bit, so that's good. And luckily, Utah's been pretty good with all the virus stuff, and so really can't complain with all what everybody else is kind of going through right now.
Now, you said that you have been hopping on Zoom like 10 times a day. Is that keeping in touch with obviously your staff, but are you keeping in touch with players too?
Yeah, we've had a couple player meetings where we just kind of get everybody on just to say hi and kind of check in on how school's going and stuff. Doing that, hopping on with recruits, a lot of recruits on here since we can't do visits right now, and then obviously with the staff a couple times a day, usually trying to make sure we got our bases covered.
So what is that like as a head coach talking to recruits via computer? I mean, that's just got to be a
You
little bit
know,
weird.
it's better than just the phone because you can actually see each other, which is good. But just in person is just so much better. I think especially for me, and I enjoy that a lot more. You get to know them and their family. Um, but we're lucky because I mean, if this had happened even when I first started coaching, we wouldn't have really had an option. Just phone calls. So to be able to do that's been really good. And for them just to kind of see our personalities and see how we interact, it's better than nothing. So thank goodness for technology.
So how active are you in the recruiting process right now with you and your coaches?
It's a really busy time for us, being our first full summer as a staff. Last year, I haven't even had the job for a year yet now. Last year, still working on my staff and everything right up until July, and it was trying to get all that taken care of. So this summer is really big. We intentionally left some scholarships open to try and be able to recruit players from the 2021 class while still going after transfers in this transfer market. So we've been really active, with our 21s, on the phone, texting them, Zooming with them daily. And then the transfers every day, me and my assistants were checking the portal, 4 or 5 times a day, especially with not a whole lot else going on. It's like, let's see if anybody else is in there. And so a lot of that. And then once there's somebody that maybe is a good fit for us, it's kind of hitting the ground running, talking to them, talking to their parents, talking to coaches, just kind of seeing where things are at. So it's been pretty busy between the phone and this Zoom with recruiting. So but it's good. It's kind of kept me busy and made it where I don't have to do only honey-do list things around the house. So
Coach, you mentioned the portal. Honestly, when I hear that word, I think of something, in like a sci-fi world or something. So, like, what is the portal? Like, can you describe it for us on the outside world here?
The portal is nothing fancy. It's no different than any other website that gets updated. You log in and you can filter it like any other website where you filter what you want to look at. Just filter it for women's basketball, and it just lists it's all based on when the date that they go in. It's all in sequential order, and there it is. If you click on the kid, it's got some contact info and if there's any notes they want in there, but it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, nothing. It's like the most boring form of social media ever. Like they're looking for friends and we're looking for friends, and if you think it's a fit, here's my email, and that's about it.
Crazy times in 2020. Oh, man. Did you ever think that when you were a head coach that this is something that you'd be doing?
No, it's great. For all the years I've been doing this in every different role, you get used to it. Like this time of year, you're getting ready to go a couple random weekends recruiting, and then you do camps, and then you're gone all July. And we just got word yesterday that UVU is shut down. No, there's no camps at least until June 26th, which kind
Oh,
of
man.
it effectively takes our camps out, and it's disappointing, but you get it. You got to make sure that everybody's healthy, and we don't want to be a part of spreading anything. And so it's really a crazy summer, but we're hoping, looking for silver linings that maybe there's some players we're recruiting where we through this can build better relationships where this day and age, your kids are always looking for bigger, better names and more offers and all this and that. And I think with this, at least talking to the recruits who we're recruiting, it's made them take pause and been like, if something like this were to happen again, do I want to be closer to my family? Do I want to be around people that I feel more comfortable with, and so, maybe in the long run for us in some small way, it'll be a benefit. But, the good news is nobody has an advantage. Everybody is under the same rules. There's no way you can sort of skirt the rules. You just can't do anything in person. And if you do, you're just dumb right now. So, but, you make the best of it. And I think that's what we're trying to do.
Now, Coach, peel back the pages of history just a little while ago. Walk us through what was WAC Vegas like for you guys? What was that experience like?
To be really honest, it was a little frustrating. It was a weird last week. We were really amped before going to Las Vegas to play UMKC, because going into that game, we still had a chance to win a regular season championship. And played a really tight game down the wire, tie game with a minute and a half left, and miss a few free throws and end up losing that game. And then the weirdness of Chicago State canceling that, but still going to the tournament, and still don't understand that. But just an interesting thing, just an interesting timing and feel where would have been nice to play that Chicago State game and hopefully win it and kind of get a little momentum going again. But then head into Vegas, and it was just a kind of a weird feel. We were really prepared, but it had been a little while since we played, and yeah, we came out flat, and we tried to fight. And I'll give Seattle credit; they played a nice game, and it was a little disappointing to have that result. But taking a step back and looking at the big picture, after starting 1-9, all the X and O's changes that we made that the girls weren't used to finish. To get to 12 wins, to finish second in the WAC, the most WAC victories, women's basketball's ever had, and to be able to win some big road games at Grand Canyon, at Bakersfield, at New Mexico State, and beat Cal Baptist, all those games for the first time ever. We've been able to, I think, tell our girls, hey, there's a lot to build on. You did some really good things this year, despite maybe the overall record. And so, while Vegas wasn't what we wanted it to be, I think in the grand scheme of things, we did some good things this year.
What would you say is one of the biggest things that you learned about yourself in your first year as a head coach?
Yeah, the whole thing was a learning experience, but I think one of the biggest things is, trusting what we believe in as a staff, sticking with it, and then taking the time. I think for me, for several years, you kind of get in a rut and you're doing the same thing, but everybody understands how you're doing it. My previous job, and even when I was at UVU before, by the time I left, we all were playing the style of defense that I was used to. And I think it was me having more patience and taking the time, not just after, not just during the first month, but really taking the time to teach the concepts we want day in and day out, even if it was the basic stuff. And as we got back to that, I think we started to see some success with it. So,
how much more confident are you as a head coach going through this recruiting process with the full year under your belt at pitching Utah Valley to girls?
Oh, I think massively. And I think even more importantly, my staff. I think we know, like every school has strengths, weaknesses, being able to pitch that, and then being able to show our recruits, everybody wants to go to the NCAA tournament. And in the WAC, the reality right now is you got to win the tournament. But I think they see, in year one, we were able to finish second. And, in year two or year three, we can finish first, and maybe win the tournament. Or even like this year, we had the season not been canceled, we were going to be going to the NIT, which would have been the first postseason tournament ever. And I think some players have taken note of that. And it definitely gives us some confidence that, hey, we're going to be able to get this on the right track. We got to stay patient. But, the whole reason we all came to UVU is because we believed in what it could be. And I think in some small ways we proved we're capable of building it. And it's been nice to see recruits kind of buying into that, and it definitely makes it easier to sell it.
Now, you said that Utah Valley has really pushed any camps back till late June. What Is there like any short-term goals or steps here for you and your staff? Like how are you guys planning going forward throughout the rest of the summer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're all hopeful. I think the most realistic thing is that maybe somehow July recruiting happens. Being honest, I doubt it does. But if so, that'd be great. And if not, then, we'll make the most of it again. We have really 3 camps that we normally do, and they're 2 big team camps. Last year we were able to bring in over 130 teams onto campus, which is huge, not just for recruiting, but I think for high school kids from Idaho, Arizona, Utah, Nevada to see our campus and see what it is. I think it's a real positive, not just for us, but for the university. And so it's disappointing that we can't do that. But our 3rd camp is an elite camp where anybody is welcome to come, any high school, girl is welcome to come. But we try and get a competitive camp there. And that one's a little bit more movable. So we're going to give it a go to try and run that maybe right at the beginning of August, and see if that's possible. If by maybe August something will be able to be run. So that's kind of the goal with our camps. It'd be really nice because for us it's really big in recruiting. But for the rest of the time, I think it's just staying connected. It's easy when you're apart from each other a lot to maybe lose some touch, lose some drive, lose some focus. And so we have a schedule set up for all of us to contact our own players and contact our recruits on a daily basis to make sure we're checking in with them and make sure they're doing okay. And that's really what it is, just constant communication, because right now that's about all we can do.
Well, Coach, we know you're busy, and so we'll finish up with with a couple social media questions here.
Uh-huh.
First one, top 5 movies right now for you.
Oh gosh, top 5 movies. I'm not, I like movies, but I kind of have to be like, hey, let's go watch it. Like my wife and I went, we saw 1917. I like that, but we only go to the movies every so often. It's like when we have free time, we usually don't end up doing that. Because when we have free time, that we'd rather talk to each other than go to the movies. And so there's that. I watch a lot of shows more than movies.
Okay,
so,
top 5 shows.
So I'll change that. The Office is always up there. Like that's just an easy go-to. I watched, much to my wife's chagrin, I rewatched Parks and Rec recently. So Ron Swanson is real popular with me at the moment. Tiger King, the insanity of that. You can't go wrong there. I did catch up. I got season 3 of Ozark, which is crazy.
Okay.
Caught that one. And then what else have I watched recently? Oh, you know what? My wife and I actually were watching. It's a Netflix show called Dirty Money. Every episode's different about like how different organizations make money in kind of interesting ways. So I watched that. So that's what I've watched recently.
Okay. And then what about your current playlist? Who's on your current playlist right now?
Oh, current playlist. See, I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Austin. So that's a kind of music city. So it's a little bit all over the place. I mean, I listen to country, listen to rap, but recently I've been listening to a band from Texas called Turnpike Troubadours, kind of a country, more Texas country kind of thing. Listening to them, listening to Tyler Childers, another country guy. My brother-in-law actually owns in Lubbock. Him and my sister live in Lubbock. He played football there at Texas Tech, but he owns a big live music place called Blue Light, and so he's always cluing me in on some of the new up-and-coming Texas guys, and so I'll listen to them and check it out. But, yeah, it just depends on the mood, Like sometimes it'll be rap for a week, and it'll be country, and then it'll be my dad's music, listen to James Taylor and, Doobie Brothers and all those guys. So
good stuff. Good stuff.
Place.
All right, Coach. Well, again, thank you for taking the time to chat with us here. Hopefully we can – provide a little distraction for you. Hopefully things can start to clear up a little bit.
Absolutely.
But stay healthy, you and your family.
Hey, appreciate it. And same to you. And really appreciate you always supporting us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach.